Hello, Bella.
Hi, Bella.
Hi. Okay, this works now.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. So, how's your day going,
Hi.
Bella?
Oh, it's going well. Elizabeth is actually on a flight right now, so she couldn't make it, but Catherine and I are here.
Okay, that's perfect. That's amazing for me. That's amazing. It's a huge privilege to have you both, and
How are you?
yeah, it's a real privilege to have you here in this second edition of Chats with Legends. And I was very excited to know about your work, about your movie. I know that recently you produced The Accused, and that was so exciting and wondering about how it was, the process of producing this movie. So can you tell a little bit about this film, The Accused, that you produced recently? Can you talk a little bit about this?
Catherine, you want to start?
Absolutely. So, we produce our own content. So everything that we've produced, at least thus far, and what we're planning on producing is written by us. So it's our content. So Elizabeth and I wrote The Accursed. It was originally named Severed Silence, and then it was changed during the sale process to The Accursed. And we all three, Elizabeth, myself, and Bella, produced this as a threesome team. And Bella was, while Betta and I directed, Bella was active producer. As we all kind of took multiple roles, but she really had a heavy on the producing side of this film.
Okay. So what was it? I mean, what is the great lesson actually you learned from this production? Because I know that each production has its lessons. What lesson can you share from producing this movie in particular?
Well, I can start. I'm sure you have, we both have multiple probably points on what we learned, but I think for me, it was mostly just learning that the people that you work with, because it's an independent production, and so your crew is not really big. You know, you have a tight-knit crew, you have a tight-knit cast, people that, you know, hopefully you've worked with and you can bring back on. But I think it's just really important for the people that you're working with to get along, for everybody to be on the same page, for everybody to be, you know, there and present and working hard. And it really would not have been possible without everybody doing their part.
Okay.
So I think that you probably agree, Kath.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, the old saying goes, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And that's extremely true, especially in what we do as filmmakers, because everybody plays such an integral part. Especially on a small production, you know, everybody carries a really heavy load, and sometimes 2 and 3 loads.
Okay.
So yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, no, that's amazing to know. But can you talk a little bit about the story portrayed in the movie? I know that it talks about the horror. It's the movie about the horror actually, but can you share about the story behind all of this? What are you trying to tell us in this movie?
I'm going to let you take that, Kath, because you are a co-writer.
Well, we all, everybody involved kind of has their mark on this, but when, you know, our goal as a company is to make films that empower women, not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera. Okay. So that's our main goal with all of the films that we produce. But in this film in particular, we really wanted to portray a woman that struggles with things that all of us do as women. You know, just the heaviness of life, the burden of life, the burden of protecting your family. Not burden, but it is a burden to be responsible and to protect your family. But we put it in the scope of a big fantastical curse and things like our stories, especially The Accursed, was just about a woman protecting her family at all costs. And unfortunately, with this story, it was because of a betrayal that she did. She betrayed her friend in the worst way. And so in turn, this curse came about. And so it's kind of her fault. So she's not only struggling with the guilt of past mistakes, which in a smaller scale, we all are, but she's also trying to keep this curse at bay and keep her family safe. And until, you know, I don't want to give any spoilers, but until somebody comes into the picture and
But I have this
so
question,
it's basically,
yeah, I was saying I have this question. I know this movie you produced this movie with Elisabetta. So can you tell us a little bit about the process of joining ideas with Elisabetta? How was this process of building something great, something big together with Elisabetta? Can you talk a little bit about your connection with Elisabetta in the process of producing this movie?
absolutely. You know, our threesome only works here, you know, the three of us, the trio here works because of the immense amount of trust that we have with one another. Elizabeth and I go way, way back, many, many years. And we started off as actors. Okay. And our whole process of writing and producing came out of the need for stronger and better material for ourselves and to make something that we wanted to see that we weren't finding out there. We started writing first and then producing and then directing. It just was a natural progression. And because Elizabeth and I had already fleshed out the story and fleshed out the characters, we were already, you know, we were already in such unison that when we get on set, instead of it being hard to work together as directors, it became actually a benefit because you had two people that were on the same page working in unison, and so you had more cooks, you know, there. And so Bella came in as a full-time producer on this. She's been a part of every single one of our projects, writer, actor, but this time she came in as a full-time producer. And I tell you, it was just, again, a seamless transition. And it was just so great to have now a third head to this creative monster. Yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience. And, you know, again, it goes down to trust and respect. And I think that's where it always has to go. And that's where we've continued on. And it keeps everything working and chugging along in the best, most enjoyable way possible.
No, that's
yes, I can attest to that. I can attest that Kathryn and my mom, I always, you know, it's funny like calling her Elisabetta as we're talking, but no, I think Kathryn and Elisabetta, they do have like a connection that I think everybody picks up on because you guys create together. And I think that when you create with somebody and you kind of share a brain in a lot of ways, then like she said, it's very seamless, like especially having been directed by the two of them. There's never a moment where you're confused or where you're unsure, like one person has one idea, the other has another. It's kind of always in line. And I think working with the two of you is easy because of that. Because, you know, people think like, oh, trio, how does that work? But I feel like you guys are almost one brain. So it's like kind of a trio, kind of not.
We get mashed together all the time. I mean, we even had a single name on set. It was never Kathryn or Betta. It was Beta Cat all the time. It was really funny.
Which we don't want that to catch on, by the way.
No, please. It was a one-time wonderful thing.
But Isabella, how can you talk about the process of embodying the characters? I know you had a role in this movie, and how do you see your role in this movie in particular? How do you analyze the process of embodying the characters, the process of accepting the role, etc.? Can you talk a little bit about the whole process of producing The Accursed, the movie?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I did come on as a producer when we started the project in 2017. I was always attached just because the script had undergone a lot of revisions.
Okay. Yeah.
And I also got older by the time we started filming. So by the time we started filming, I was no longer too young to play the role of Sunny.
Okay.
Which had kind of evolved into Sunny. And I kind of, with every role that I do, I sort of approach it similarly. Like I really try to delve into that character's brain and see what similarities and differences we have and all that. And I just, acting is my favorite above all. I do love acting. And I know Kathryn and Elizabeth love, I don't know why I went this way. Kathryn and Elizabeth.
Because the fact is usually right there. It's so odd having her there.
Oh, that's so funny. I know they also really love like creativity, kind of above all. And so with acting, it's like my playground. Like I get to really have a lot of fun. I read the script like an ungodly amount of times and I dissect my character and then I talk about it a bunch. And then I get to set and I'm like, okay, I want to stop analyzing and I just want to have fun. Yeah. And I think that's really what it's all about. So, Sunny was just a lot of fun to play because George Santhus, who is my co-star, he plays my husband in the film, and we became really good friends prior to filming. We kind of made an effort to like, okay, let's go get food and like get to know each other, and then we kind of became too good of friends. So we got on set and would like crack up before every just inside jokes and stuff, but. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I always love getting directed by the two of them, just because we're all so close. So it's very easy.
You know what excites me the most is the chemistry I see between you and Kathryn. So, do you think this is one of the great steps, or you think the chemistry might have helped you in the production process? I mean, looking to the connection you have, I think. I'm wondering if this element will be very, important in the process of producing the movie. Do you think this chemistry between you two had an important role in the process, in the production process?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, you want me to answer that, Bells?
Yeah.
I mean, I think 100%, like I was saying earlier, gosh, I've known Bella before she was even born. I was at her baby shower, so I've had the amazing honor of watching her grow into this amazing woman. And I mean, there's not too much I don't know about her as a human being, and as and same with Betta. I mean, Betta and Elizabeth and I have gone through so many ups and downs just from life. We've gone through pregnancies together and child rearing and writing processes and launching projects and failing at things and succeeding at things. So, I'm the godmother to her, Bella's sister. So, I mean, it's just, when you have a relationship like that and you have the same mind and same goal, which is to have a project succeed. There's no fear of failing, basically. I mean, you can always have roadblocks and bumps in the road, but when you trust somebody like that and you know somebody, of course you're going to have more of a success. And I think I don't know, Bella, jump in. I think that is a big part of the success that we've had, is just being able to just work past some of the stuff that other people get caught up in. We've not had to worry about getting caught up in those things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and also because like we are family, we're family, we're friends, we're in a lot of ways just kind of all encompassing. And so I think that people do worry, is it good to mix personal life with business? But I think with the three of us, it seemed to like benefit us more so than hinder us, because we are so close and we can kind of be honest about things that we need as people. And if we need to step aside, and Kathryn had a baby last year and she needed time, and there wasn't any sort of it's like I feel like there was just how do you say it? Like, it wasn't even like a professional courtesy. It was just like woman to woman, family to family. Like,
Yeah.
of course she's going to take time aside. And I feel like things like that, when life happens and when life kind of gets in the way, or when life is going great or whatnot, like, we're all there for each other. And it doesn't feel like we have an obligation to each other to only be business partners, but to also take care of one another. And I think that's what's created like such a long-standing relationship.
No,
Absolutely.
no, that's great. That's great. And you're doing a great job at almost normal productions. And it's interesting to see the job you have been doing. But what are the goals and the challenge you have been facing lately?
Challenges.
The challenge and goals. When you look to the company, which challenge and which goals do you see as most? I mean, when we talk the goals, which are the most important goals you think you might reach in a short period of time, and which are the challenge that you see as those kind of frontiers as a limitation maybe for your work?
Well, I mean, I can start with goals. I think that our general goal, as a company and having released this film, is to increase kind of the female voice in the horror genre and in filmmaking in general. I think that, women's voices are generally underrepresented, specifically with horror. And I think that we have a lot to contribute in that sense, that we're telling stories through a female gaze, and we're telling stories that are, sort of in that elevated horror plane where they're psychological, they're dealing with real life human problems. And, we're also dealing with problems that women are facing day to day, just as Kathryn said, in a fantastical kind of entertaining world. And I think that female issues, human issues, they're relevant, whether you're telling them in a horror story or a drama film. It just depends on how you're executing that message. But, you can kind of jump in and.
Oh, no, I mean, I agree. And I think, for challenges, it's like any small company, the smaller company that's starting from the ground up, you have the basic challenges of time and manpower and those things that every small up and coming like startup company or whatever, funds and things like that. All those things are the same for us. So, and now we're contending with COVID. So when we go into our next production, we're going to have to contend with that and all the additional issues that come up with that. So, I mean, I think now is a great time to be a woman in this industry, because I think now more than ever, we're being recognized and we're being given more opportunities than ever. So I wouldn't say there's any hindrance there right now.
So, but do you think producing this movie in this complicated time because of COVID-19 might have had a very important or significant impact on your production? Because I know this pandemic time very complicated for all of us, and we have actually to find a way out so we can still follow our paths, our goals. But how do you see these complicated times, looking to the process of producing The Accursed? Do you think COVID-19 had a very direct impact on your production and the process of producing the movie?
We've been asked this question a few times, and I think that fortunately we've been able to say not completely, not really. We filmed the movie right before the pandemic. So we filmed, and then we went into post-production, and we actually got to, and then in March of 2020, when everything started to shut down, we had to convert to remote. But post is probably the best phase to land in during COVID, because you're able to do editing and color and all of that remotely, even though it's not ideal. And, it still wasn't completely smooth sailing. We had a product, and we were able to, from home, have this project that we could work on and kind of get us through that difficult time, which, personally, for me, was like a big saving grace.
Yeah, absolutely. We even set up, we were really lucky. We even set up a coloring station in the Vidovic's living room to get this done. And I think also, things changed with COVID. All the markets, when we took it to the market, when our reps took it to market, everything went from being in person to, it's been a learning process. So it kind of stretched out. We had a team with other companies. I think we were very successful in getting that we could, and in the most successful way. And we had such a great response. I feel very fortunate. I'm really proud of our entire team, Gravitas and Blyberg. I mean, we all powered it out through this trying time, and all the people that worked with us in post.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's great. Before the last question, I would like to send my sincere apologies, because we're having a lot of trouble because of the internet, and we're having some issues with the cameras here. And I'm very sorry about that. And I hope maybe one day we can reschedule to do a better interview in better conditions, if you're open for this. Because in these with these technical things, sometimes we have our limitation, and I'm very sorry about that.
Oh, don't we know it, Sérgio? Don't worry about it.
But my last question is, can you talk about women in cinema? Because we have a lot of point of views about women's in cinema, in acting, as the directors, as producers. Can you talk in general about if it was a kind of question, I would ask this way: which is the role of women in modern era in cinema?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of ways to answer this question. I think that maybe like from our perspective, specifically with the Accursed, we were actually just talking with Mitzi Perrone, who's another female director in horror who directed a film called Braid a couple years back. And she was saying how important she feels that it is for women to be a part of the horror genre, for female directors, for female writers, to have a voice in the horror genre. And I'm just speaking because, that's kind of our latest project, because there's a completely different perspective. There's the other 50% of the population now that you're getting to hear from, in a genre where, it's largely been male dominated. And when you're hearing just from one gender, obviously you're going to have a completely different perspective. But when you start introducing women into the mix, then suddenly you start to delve into different topics, into different subjects. You have different talking points. And I think that's so important. And, Kathryn, I'm sure you kind of can jump in on that, but I think that to me is a huge and important role for women in cinema right now, is bringing in their voice into genres where you don't really hear from women a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. And, just, to kind of wrap that up, that's exactly what we're doing as a production company. Almost Normal Productions, you see our motto. It's, we're making films for women to channel their inner badass, and that encompasses a lot. We're creating entertainment and stories, but we're bringing women of all ages, of all walks of life, real women with real issues to the screen, and at a real age that sometimes isn't as popular. So we're representing women in a way that we want them real, relatable, and represented. So, not just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. So I think what we're doing for women in cinema in our little part of the world is what we are going to continue to do. And, you know, I think if everybody kind of goes in that direction and tries to find that equality, we're going to find a really nice balance in cinema. I really do. So I'm really happy with the response that we've gotten so far as a production company and as this film. So we're going to keep chugging along.
No, that's great. That's great. Wish you best of luck. And I don't know if you have a point to add before we close our chat for today. Isabela.
Oh, I mean, if you haven't seen The Accursed yet, that's kind of what we've been talking about this whole time. So it's available on Amazon and iTunes, Vudu. It's if you go to almostnormalproductions.com, you'll see all the platforms it's up on, and it's a lot of fun, especially if you like something spooky. So
and it's also on demand on a lot of major cable networks, so you can also find it on demand.
No, and I saw that you had a great points on the Rotten Tomato. I searched about the movie days ago, and I saw a lot of. I saw that you had a good points there in Rotten Tomato. I don't know if you take this evaluation as something substantial. How do you see the evaluation, or the results, or the review you had on Rotten Tomato?
I mean, I think it's extremely rewarding to see such a high audience score, because our audiences are everything. Like, that's why you make content, is for your audience. So when your audience is like, we love it,
yeah, that's amazing.
It's super encouraging. Yeah,
it really is. It's like a little bit of a validation when your audience, it responds well to something. It just makes you feel like you're doing something right. So,
yeah,
definitely.
No, that's great. Thank you for the privilege and the pleasure of having you here in this edition of Chat with Legends. Hope to see you in another opportunity, and wish you best of luck at the Almost Normal Productions.
Thank you, Sérgio. Take care.
Yeah, take care, Kathryn. Take care, Isabela. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.